Hey y'all, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at. Right now it is currently the month of August, and if anybody knows, the month of August is usually when the kids go back to school, family, friends start traveling the world and stuff like that. And it's also the time to restart, refresh, and to set your mind on the newest things, the new things. It's also a time to embrace what is going on, even if things seem difficult. Like a lot of times, this is when relationships get very, very rocky, and people begin to second guess themselves. They begin to second guess what God is doing in their lives. They begin to second guess His voice. They begin to lose focus and start to look at the you know the things that we don't have, the things that don't really matter, things that are not necessary. Around this time, this is when the enemy likes to likes to remind the children of God that you know we're basically nothing without him, that we cannot do anything without him and stuff like that. And in all actuality, even even though we cannot do anything without God, even though we are prone to long for his presence, and we're prone to be hungry for him, and we're prone to be thirsty for him and stuff like that, even though we're prone to do those things, at the end of the day, it's like you still have to fight for him. You still have to fight to be in oneness with him. You still have to fight to love him. You still have to fight. And ultimately, around this time, there are doubters that does come up and stuff like that. Like, if you know that there's something that that is in your will to do, that is in your power to do, the enemy would, use certain people to stop you while you're on your process. Or he may use those he may use um people and it'll be the people that you open up your heart to. Not saying that there is anything wrong with opening your heart to people or anything like that. You can be real and be open to people, and be vulnerable to people, and it doesn't really matter. But I would say this. I would say that, lately, what I've what I've been experiencing, as far as relationships and stuff like that, I do think that there's this thing to where, people would put you, like, you'll see, like, if you are the primary person that is in their life, or if you are a priority. And it's like, people who never have fathers in their lives, they're prone to want, have a wanting, have a desire, have a longing for something that is not love. And that is why I tell people, like, all the time, that money is the root of all evil, because you could be around somebody that'll love you for you wholeheartedly. And and if you um and if base your relationship on money, and you base your relationship on things, then it's like, you won't be able to see the bigger picture. You won't be able to see what God is ultimately doing in your life through people, because he put those people in your life to, one, help you to advance, help you to polish the places that is not polished. And ultimately, what he does is, he places good people in your life, and it's up to you to know how to move with them. you know a lot of times, what God would do is he would take people out of your life. Also, he will give them to you, and he'll take them away from you. you know I also feel as if, in the dating world, there are people who will come to you, and and try to talk to you and stuff like that. Me being as young as I am, I'm not married and I don't have any kids yet. However, what I do realize is, that there's a growth that is going on in the world, and it's a growth that I've never seen before. You get what I'm saying? Like, things and people and everything is growing a lot faster and going a lot faster than I've ever seen it. And I feel like if it's not God's glory, then I don't know what it is, because God's glory is beautiful. And it's like, everything that I've been seeing with my own two eyes lately has been so amazing. And I feel as if, I always ask the Lord, I'd be like, Lord, do not let me get in the way of what you're doing, because a lot of times, what can happen is that, the enemy will try to stunt your growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have an idea or you have something in your mind that tells you that, let me spell it out. That's quote unquote KNOW. When you know something, then you know it. And it doesn't matter where you go, but you can always utilize that skill wherever you go. And it doesn't matter where you're at. Once you use that tool, that skill, that means that you are now talented enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then a lot of times the enemy, what he'll do is he'll use those people that surround you to make them become envious and jealous of who you are and what you're doing in your role in their life, in other people's lives. And I find it to be so sickening. It's so sick to me. But not only is it sick to me, but I also feel as if, this war has been going on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? There's a war between the flesh. There's a war between the mind. There's a war always going on. Like, you would think that you're in love with somebody, but deep down inside, it's not love. It's a lustful desire. Like, you would be longing to you'll be thinking that you're truly in love with somebody, and it's not love. It's not real love at all. You just have, like, your flesh is literally asking for pleasure and asking to be around this person and asking for more of this person, when in all actuality there isn't any love there. The person doesn't see you the way you want to see them. They don't mirror or reflect the love that you have to give. They don't mirror that. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who don't mirror the way that you love them, or don't show you that same amount of love back, then I'm telling you that you have to fall back. Why? Because now ultimately this person, they're thinking in their right mind, they're like, I don't even look at this. I don't even look at you like that. So why do you look at me like that? Or why do you talk to me like that? Or why do you act this way with me? When I don't give you, that, and I don't even give you that power. Like, you don't even have that power over me. Those are the thoughts that be going on in people's mind, and you don't even know it. Excuse me. And that is why I tell my young women, if you tune into my podcast, my 2025 podcast, then you will be educated and knowledgeable as to what is going on out here in this world. The reality of, relationships, the reality of a man's perspective and a woman's perspective, the reality of what is really going on, and why it's so important to not hide how you feel about anything. And that's why I recommend that people write things down. Write it down or talk about it. Because if you can't talk about it, then pray about it. Exes are exes for a reason. And honestly, I think the Holy Spirit every single day, whenever the Holy Spirit begins to remind me of my past, He begins to talk to me about my ex and gives me wisdom, about the things that we've endured and how I, grew from certain situations, and give me enlightenment, on certain dark situations that happened in my life, and how, if it just so happened to be that, God allows me to go through that same trial again, then I will know how to overcome that obstacle. You know, I will know how to overcome that obstacle. And that's the goal here for you also. You got to be the type of person to overcome obstacles. Because a lot of times what the enemy would do is, he'll make it seem as if you're not adequate. You're not adequate enough. You're not adequate enough to do certain things, or, you're not adequate enough to be who you are. And also, the enemy is prone to judge people. Like, that's the number one thing that he likes to do, judge people. But I want to go ahead and read this verse to you guys. This is John 1, verse 1 and going. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him was nothing that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of mankind. The light shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." There was a part in the word where I want to finish it also. It says, "There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and through the world was made, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him." I want to go in on that real quick. How is it that the man of the world, the man God above, created the world, and the world was made through him, for him, by him, but the world did not recognize him? Perhaps you may have gotten a visitation from the Lord, and you don't even recognize that it's him knocking on your door. You don't even recognize what he's doing in your life. You don't even recognize what he's doing, who he's using, where he's operating in your life. And this is why this podcast is very essential. Because a lot of times there are blessings in our life that is working for us. But because we don't acknowledge who God is in our life, we don't recognize him. We don't recognize him. We don't recognize the work that he's doing. We don't recognize who he is in our lives. And that right there, it makes him sad every single day, because he's always trying to prove to his children that he is a just God. He's just. He goes to the unjust and the just. He treats everybody the same way, and not only that, but his ways are higher than ours. Even though we may think, like, as people, we may think that we know it all, we know everything, but his ways are completely higher than our ways. And if he is the one who ultimately is the light, and people were sitting in darkness and they didn't even know that they were sitting in darkness, that right there is dangerous. You don't even know when you're sitting in darkness. Sitting in darkness, meaning that, you don't have a light. That means that you don't have any direction. You don't have any guidance. You don't have anybody showing you the way. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting in darkness and he comes and shows you the way, which means that the Lord gives us direction. He comes and gives light, shines light where there was darkness, which means that somebody's perspective changed, whether it was his or hers. Somebody's perspective changed. Somebody's life changed when he showed up, ultimately. And I pray that through this podcast, you would acknowledge the light that is in your life, and that you would not judge people, because there is no sin that is greater than the other. None at all. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I do look forward to posting more. Put a like, comment below if you want more. Thank you. Bye.